Hello and welcome to another 30-minute yoga class. I'm so glad you're here and trying to fit a little bit of stretching and strengthening into your day. Today's focus is going to be a little bit of everything. We're going to add another long hold pose to help increase flexibility. Again, we have a lot to do, so let's get started. So come onto your mat, feet hip distance apart, toes are spread, rooting down through the four corners of your feet. You know, I'm big on mindfulness, so be aware of how your feet feel touching the mat. Pull those kneecaps up, tighten the glutes, pull the pelvic floor up, belly in, shoulders down and back. But everything else lifting up, roll your shoulders back a couple of times. Top of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. And notice how this feels compared to how when you stand, in front of the refrigerator looking for something to eat. The posture is much different in most of our daily life. But here in yoga, we really want to engage those muscles and be aware of it. Let's start with some deep breathing. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, open mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. And exhale, forward bend. First forward bend is always the tightest. Find a way to get into it in a way that feels good for you. And then maybe just add some movement in here. Make it your own. Let your body sway from side to side. I'm just going to turn to the side so when we get into our sequence, my back is not towards you. Relax the head. Maybe bend the knees, shift the hips, and then come back to center. Inhale and come halfway up. Again, your hands can be on your thighs, on your shins, or maybe even down at the mat if that feels good. Chin is reaching forward, gaze is at the top of your mat. Big hamstring stretch here, so enjoy that. Bend your knees a little bit if you need to. No pain in yoga. And then release back into your forward bend. Relax your neck. Turn your head from side to side. Head is heavy. Your head weighs about 12 or 13 pounds. So let the weight of your head just kind of pull on that cervical spine a little bit so you get some space there. And then hands on the mat. Bring your left leg back into a low lunge. Adjust that front foot so that your knee is over your ankle. Humbled warrior pose, just resting your torso on that right leg. The whole weight of the torso is on the leg. Your hands are on the mat, but they're just there for placement. You can lift your hands for, just to see that you're really releasing your weight on that leg. Great for digestion. Drop the hips a little bit more so you get a nice stretch through the groin. And then place your left hand flat on the mat and bring your right arm back and up towards the ceiling. Follow it with your gaze. Reach up high. Fingers are spread. And notice how this feels in your body. Where do you feel it the most? Press that back heel all the way back. So you stretch all the muscles of the leg. Then we're going to add some rotation through the shoulder. So just bring the arm forward and back. Make some nice big arm circles here. The joints need full rotation to stay nice and lubricated, so your shoulder is saying thank you right now. And then a few times in the opposite direction. Notice how that feels. The longer we do it, you start to feel it in the triceps and the biceps. That's good. Let's do one more time for good luck. Nice straight elbow if you can. And then bring that hand back down to your mat. Step that right foot back, come into down dog. And let's pedal it out nice and slowly. So opposite heels, down to the mat in slow motion and hold that heel down. Get that nice stretch through the calf and the hamstring. And then pause in your down dog. Feet are hip distance apart. Press your hands away from you. Relax your head. You should be able to see your knees. You can bend your knees in down dog if you need to. Pause here for a moment and feel your breath. Feel the breath going in and the breath going out. See if it's deep or shallow. See if you're making noise with your breath. Just be curious about your breath. It's another way to stay present in your practice. And on your next inhale, let's shift into plank pose. Squeezing the glutes, pulling the pelvic floor up, pulling the belly in, pushing the mat away from you, and then exhale back into down dog. Inhale into plank. Tighten everything you've got here. Every muscle is working. And then exhale, down dog. 2 more. Notice the difference in each pose. How does down dog feel different from plank? 1 more. Pull that belly in. That will help with the wrists get a little tired in down dog, so make sure you stay strong. Finish up in plank. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, let your ankles fall to the, let's see, what direction is that? Left. And come into side plank. Bring your right arm up overhead. If you want to drop the left knee, to make it a little bit kinder, feel free. Or you can keep your legs straight for a little bit more of a challenge. And if you want more of a challenge still, you can stack your feet. Really use the core. All right, let's work some of the obliques here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, reach under. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, reach under. Notice where you feel this the most. If your wrist is starting to hurt, feel free to come out of it if it's really uncomfortable. And come back into your plank. Drop your knees. Let's rest a little bit in child's pose, but bring your arms along the sides of your body. Rotate through those wrists. You get a little tight in that. And forehead to the mat. Deep breath in. Exhale through the open mouth. A little hard in child's pose, but do your best. Release the whole weight of your body onto your lap in child's pose. If your hips don't release over your ankles, you can roll up a towel and put it under your hips. That will help as well. 2 more breaths here. Inhale. All right. So I hope you were being present in that child's pose and not thinking about, lunch or dinner or the next thing on your agenda. Always trying to stay present in our practice. That is part of a yoga practice. Let's come up into tabletop and move right into cat and cow 6 times. So inhale, drop your belly, push your shoulders back, lift your chin, expanding the front of your spine, opening up your chest. And then exhale into cat pose. Spine comes up, pelvic floor pulls up, belly is in towards the spine, chin is at the chest. Inhale for cow, and exhale for cat. 4 more. When I teach kid classes, we make the animal sounds, so feel free if you want to add those. And I think 1 more. I actually lost count, but let's just do 1 more. And then finish up in a neutral tabletop. Extend your left arm out and your right leg back. Toes are pointing down, reaching in opposite directions. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. Not just holding the limbs up, but stretching in opposite directions, stretching so much that you feel it in the front of your belly. Notice if you're feeling grounded here and steady in the pose, or maybe you're swaying side to side. That happens, that's all right. Don't worry about that. One more breath. And let's add some crunches here. So inhale and stretch. Exhale, elbow and knee together, underneath, chin to the chest, squeeze it in. Inhale, extend and stretch. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, stretch. 4 more. The breathing really helps to regulate the tempo of the movement. Try to remember to bring your chin in so you can really crunch it up here. 1 more. Keep that leg up, but bring the left hand down. Take a deep breath here, and as you exhale, slide your right foot. You can bring the toes down to the floor. Slide it over to the left, and then look over your left shoulder, stretching out the right side of your body and crunching the left. So go over to the left, and then slide the foot over to the right and look over your right shoulder. Slide that leg up as far as you can, maybe even perpendicular to your torso. And then opposite direction, and back to the right. So again, trying to be mindful in our practice, noticing the longer that we do this, how the movement might feel different in your body. Let's do 2 more. Maybe you're feeling it in that left leg. That left leg is working hard, stabilizing you. Or maybe you're feeling something else. Just always knowing how your practice is feeling in your body. And then bring that right leg back. Walking your hands forward into puppy pose. So hips stay up, arms reach forward, release your chest down to your mat, maybe your forehead to your mat. And breathe. And then walk your hands back. Just coming into child's pose to reset for a moment. You can bring the arms along the sides of your body. That helps to relax the shoulders, rotate through your wrists. Couple breaths right here. And then we'll move on to the other side. These 30-minute classes go so fast. 1 more breath. Bring your arms up towards the top of your mat. We'll make our way up into mountain pose through down dog. Why don't we pause here? Separate your feet the width of your mat and just let your hips shift from side to side. That's a nice stretch for the hips and the groin and the lower back. Pause in the middle. Walk your feet back to center. And then either hop forward or walk forward. Reverse swan dive. All the way up. Come back to center. Hands at heart center. 2 cleansing breaths right here before we move to the other side. So inhale through the nose. Open mouth. Exhale. Slow and steady on that exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. All right, friends, just release, shake it out. We'll do that same sequence on the other side. I'm going to turn this side again so my back is not to you much of the time. So coming to your mat, rooting down. Be mindful, we're starting the second side. Just know you're starting the second side. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Rooting down through your feet, but reaching up through the rest of your body. Everything's engaged. You could add a little back bend here, reaching back. Feels so good. Inhale, forward, and come all the way into your forward bend. Release your neck. A lot of people do forward bend with their head up. looking down at your mat. No, top of your head facing down. You're looking at your legs. Let the weight of your head pull you deeper into the pose, leaning a little bit more into your toes so that your hips are over your ankles and not back there. Bend your knees if you have to. And then again, if you want to add some movement here, bending the knees, swaying side to side, even turning the head. Always good to move the body. Pausing in the center. Inhale, come halfway up. Leaning into the toes, straight knees if you can. You can place your hands on your thighs, on your shins, on the mat. Deep hamstring stretch. Tight hamstrings are responsible for almost every bad thing in life. So let's keep them nice and flexible. Exhale, come back into your forward bend. Hands on the mat and step your right foot back, coming into that humbled warrior pose. I always need to make adjustments before I settle into a pose, so take the time to do that. Torso resting on that left leg. This is really good for digestion, but also great for stretching out the groin. Press that back heel back to stretch through the calves. Looking off the top of your mat, let's just take a moment to really be present in this pose. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Notice if maybe part of your body is shaking a little bit, or maybe you're swaying. Notice all of that. Plant your right hand on the mat and bring your left arm back and up towards the ceiling, reaching up high. I see people in this pose sometimes kind of sinking into it. No, you want to reach up high. Bring your gaze up. Look at that thumb. And notice how this feels. For some people, this is hard on the knee. If your knee is kind of talking to you right now, just walk your foot out a little bit to the left, and that will help. So, reaching up high. And then let's add those arm circles to rotate through the shoulder. This you could do any time of the day, even if you're in the office at your desk. Maybe not this whole pose, but just the shoulder rotations, and then a few times in the opposite direction. So important. We have a lot of joints in our body, so we think of the big ones, like the shoulders and the hips, but of course, our knuckles and our spine, big joint, lots of joints. All right, and release that left arm down to your mat and step that left foot back into down dog. Pedal it out. You might even separate your feet like we did on the other side and let the hips go from side to side. And then check in with your breathing as you're doing this. Is your breath gone back to shallow breathing? Are you still deep breathing? All right, bring your feet back to hip distance apart. And we're gonna flow from down dog into plank, just like we did on the other side. So inhale, come into plank pose. Everything tightens up here. And exhale, down dog. Inhale forward. Exhale back. One more time. Come back into your plank pose. Just hold for just a breath or two. Feel the strength of the pose. Such a full body pose. Really great. And then let your heels fall to the right into down dog plank, side plank, sorry. Remember, you can drop that bottom leg. If you want to do that and give yourself a little break today, and bring your arm up towards the ceiling. Or you could stay with that leg extended out. Yogi's choice, always. And then we'll add that oblique work here. So on your exhale, reach under and up. Oh, I'm feeling the heat build up now. Under, reaching up. 2 more. If your wrist is hurting like mine was just, then You can lower that knee. That also helps take the pressure off the wrist. One more. And then release that arm down. Come back into tabletop. Let's just rest those wrists in child's pose for a breath or two. Bring the arms on the side of the body. This is actually called embryo pose when you're tucked in like this. Just a couple of breaths, but rotate through your wrists. They get really tight in that plank pose. And then let's come up into cat and cow. So same thing as we did on the other side. If your wrists are still a little tender, come onto your fists and that will help. Or again, roll your mat back. All that extra padding makes a difference. So as you inhale, drop your belly, shine your heart forward, push your shoulders back, lift your chin, really opening up the chest here and feel the front of the spine opening up. And then exhale into cat pose. Inhale, forward. Exhale for cat. Tightening up here. Pull that pelvic floor up and the navel in. 2 more. Stay with the breath. And then finish up in your neutral tabletop. Nice strong shoulders, belly still pulling in. This time the right arm comes up and the left leg goes back, toes pointing down. So we'll just hold this for a couple of breaths. Reaching, not just holding the legs up like, but really reaching out in opposite directions, so much so that you feel a stretching. You feel it in your arms, you feel it in the legs, you feel it in the spine, in the belly. Gazes down at the mat, relax the neck. And then we'll add our crunches here. So inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch it all together. Squeeze it in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Did I say one more time? I meant 2 more times. So this is the last one. Inhale. And exhale. Squeeze. Keep that left leg up, right hand can come down to the mat, point the toes. Bring that left leg over to the right side of your mat. Look over that right shoulder. Look at those pretty toes. And then come over to the other side. So leg slides over, maybe perpendicular to your body, maybe not. Do what's right for you. Look at that foot. Then go over to the other side. And back and forth a couple of times. So here, be mindful of the side body. We're stretching and opening one side and contracting the other, and then doing the opposite. So see if you can just really feel that difference. One more time, kind of lost count, that's all right. And then bring that knee back to center and walk your hands forward, coming into puppy pose. So the hips stay up over the knees if you can. Walk your hands out as far as you can. Spread your fingers and then press your chest down to the mat. Some days I make it all the way down, some days I don't. Just do your best. Every day is different. Forehead to the mat. Stay here for 2 breaths. And then come back up into center. And just shake out those wrists. We're going to finish up with a long hold pose. We did this last week. It's a 2-minute, for our purposes, it's a 2-minute yoga pose with a 4-8 breathing pattern so that we can calm the central nervous system, shut off that stretch reflex. And remember, in these long hold poses, we're not so worried about alignment. We're going to do lizard pose, so we'll have to do one on each side. So come into down dog. That's a good way to get into lizard. And then bring your left foot to the outside edge of your mat on the left. You can bring the knee to the mat if you want. That makes it a little bit more gentle. And then relax your head. If you're feeling like you can go deeper, you can come onto your forearms. So that's an option for you too. Or you can lean on blocks or books if you have that too. So we're going to hold this for 2 minutes. So find a place in the pose where you think you can do that, okay? So relax the neck. And here we go for 2 minutes. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep going with this breathing pattern. We have just about a minute more to go. See if you can stay with me here. And remember, in these long holds, we want to kind of melt into them. Some people refer to this as gravity yoga because you let the force of gravity kind of pull you deeper into the pose. And it's this 4-8 breathing that helps the mind to relax. Feel the rhythm of the breath. Just about another 30 seconds. It's these longer stretches that really help to change the shape of our muscles and allow for greater flexibility over time. You do need to practice it every day, but I'm just introducing it to you here. Maybe tomorrow you can just do this pose and hold it for 2 minutes on your own and see if it starts to feel differently after a few times. All right, and gently come out of the pose. It's a little tight. Come into child's pose, reaching forward, rotate through your wrists. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. So if your wrists are smarting a little bit, maybe this time you come on to your forearms or use a pillow. So let's do the same thing on the other side. Starting out in down dog. Bring that right foot forward. And again, you can keep that leg straight or bring the knee down. That's your choice. Relax the neck. Here we go. The timer is on. 2 minutes. Go back to that breathing. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep breathing like this. If this 4-8 pattern doesn't work for you, that's okay. You can change it up a little bit. Just try to make the exhale longer, because that longer exhale turns off the fight or flight syndrome. You want to relax, let the body move deeper into the pose. Relax the mind. You're safe. There's nothing to chase you or endanger you here. If it's really if you're hurting in your joints, come out of the pose and then don't do it. Okay, everybody, 5 more seconds. And come out of the pose. Come into child's pose or any pose that your body needs right now. Take a couple of deep breaths. Nice job on those long holds. I really love them. I've been doing them for a while now, and I'm feeling a big difference in my flexibility. Let's just switch over into a Shavasana so that we can end our yoga class properly. Shavasana is the best part. So all the way down. Arms out to the sides, palms facing up, feet just flopping out. Take a big inhale through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. And just let your body sink into the earth. Feel your body resting. Just feel the rhythm of your breath, bringing you nourishment and energy with each inhale. And feel that cleansing component of your exhale. Couple more breaths. And then roll over onto your side. I wish we could do a longer Shavasana, everybody. It's my favorite pose. Coming up into a seated position. Take a deep breath in, raise your arms up overhead. Let your head fall back. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Namaste, everybody. Great to be with you. Stay healthy. Take good care of yourself. Stay tuned for all the videos coming up through Driven. It's great to be with you. Namaste.